Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, the channel that's all about the art of being ill. My name is Caroline and today's episode is going to be about Morbus Crohn and my journey with it. So let's just get started. So let's start by talking about what Morbus Crohn is. Morbus Crohn is an autoimmune disease, and that means that the immune system is attacking healthy cells in the body. In the case of Morbus Crohn, it's attacking healthy cells in the bowel. Why the immune system does this is unknown. We don't know why they want to mess things up like that. When the immune system attacks the healthy cells in the bowel, it creates inflammation. This is a completely normal process when cells are damaged. Inflammation shows in 5 ways. It shows by redness, warmth, swelling, pain, and decreased function of the area that's damaged. For example, if you cut your finger, it will swell, there will be pain, it will be red, and if you touch it, you will feel that it's warm, and you will most likely have a hard time bending your finger. So that's inflammation. It's completely natural. When it comes to Morbus Crohn, the immune system keeps attacking the cells in the bowel that are not damaged. And because it keeps attacking, it creates chronic inflammation. And this gives some really unpleasant symptoms. Common symptoms are diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, fever, dehydration. What type of symptoms you will experience is very individual, just like the way you treat it is very individual. So how is Morbus Crohn treated? There are different ways to treat it, and it really depends on your condition, how severe it is, and what works for you and your body. It's very individual what type of treatment that your doctor would recommend. One way to treat it is using steroids, and they are highly effective. They are anti-inflammatory, and that's also why they are a really effective way to treat Morbus Crohn. However, they do come with some very unpleasant side effects, to say the least. If you get it for a shorter amount of time, you don't necessarily get any side effects. So don't get scared if your doctor wants to put you on steroids, because it's very effective, and as long as it's not for the rest of your life, it will be fine. Just follow the doctor's instructions. But it does have some unpleasant side effects if you take it for a longer period of time. One very not so fun side effect is you get moon phase. And moon phase is basically when you just have a completely round face. It's so weird, but your whole face just changes. And the same with the stomach. You can get like a very big stomach for some reason. Maybe it kind of looks not like you're pregnant, but that kind of size. And it's, it's a very, if you, like me, it's not necessarily so good for body image. So it's a little annoying, but it does go away. I want to say that when you stop taking steroids, it will go away. So it's not a permanent side effect. However, there are other side effects that if you get them, it's too bad. And one of them is ulcers. And you can also get osteoporosis. And this is why you can't take it for a longer period of time, because these are just some of the very severe side effects. Another side effect is also having a harder time healing wounds. So a delay of wound healing, which can be a problem because it can make it really difficult to get rid of wounds. But this is also a side effect that will go away once you stop taking it. The reason is that your skin gets really thin, so it's also easier for you to bruise and get wounds in general, and it's harder for the body to heal them. But this is also something that will go away once you stop taking the steroids. So it's more like ulcer and osteoporosis and other things that are more permanent. Once the damage is done, it's done. So that's why you shouldn't take steroids for a longer period of time. But they can be really, really effective if you're having a flare in your bowel and you are in severe pain. It's a very effective way to just like kick the disease down and just make it stop reacting the way it does. So another way to treat it, and here comes a word that I have been practicing, and I can't promise you that I can say it right. But another way to treat it is by using something we call it's a biological drug called anti-rheumatics. I hope I'm saying it right. Anti-rheumatics. I'm sorry if I'm not saying it right. But anti-rheumatics, they work by inhibiting a substance we have in our body called TNF. And TNF is a really big part of the process of creating inflammation. So it makes sense that if you inhibit TNF, you're not going to create as much inflammation. And this is a very, very effective treatment as well. It's quite expensive, but it's very effective. Personally, I get an anti-rheumatics that is called Humira. That's the original name of it. And I take it once a week, and it's an injection. These types of medicines are by injection or by infusion or something like that. It's not a pill. It is injection or infusion. So that's just perfect. Anti-rheumatics has less side effects, way less side effects than steroids. For long-term treatment, they are preferred. They do have side effects because all medicine has side effects. Surprise! But it's more common side effects that are just basically almost every kind of medicine can get you that kind of side effects. And that's things like nausea and fatigue and headaches and fevers and that kind of thing. Other ways to treat it could also be something called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is acetylcholine. And I don't think I'm saying that right in English, I have to admit it. Acetylcholine, maybe. Acetylcholine? Acetylcholine? It's hard to say these words. But acetylcholine, I'm just going to say it in Danish. Hope you understand. I'll write the name down here. But however, acetylcholine is a pill that you can take either just on its own or as a supplement to your treatment with anti-rheumatics. I take it as a supplement to my Humira. And acetylcholine is immune suppressive. So that it makes sense that if you suppress the immune system a little bit, not completely, you're not completely defenseless, but just a little bit, it won't attack as severely as it would without immune suppressive. So that's why it works anti-inflammatory as well. It's because it stops the immune system from attacking as hard. So, and this is again the same kind of side effects: fatigue, nausea, headaches, all the kind of that kind of thing you can get as side effects. Another side effect is actually an increased risk of getting infections. And I forgot to mention it with the anti-rheumatics, but that is also a side effect with the anti-rheumatics. And this is obviously because you are basically suppressing the immune system, so you will get an increased risk of getting infections. Personally, I don't get many infections. I'm not someone who's always have a cold or the flu all winter or lung infections and bladder infections and whatever. Like, I'm not one of those who have that side effect, I think. But some people, they do really get a lot of infections. This is also why I get the flu shot, for example. That's just to avoid that I'm sick all winter. So the last treatment I want to mention is surgery. Surgery can be a very effective treatment for some patients with Morbus Crohn. So basically you can remove the part of the bowel that's attacked by the disease. And this is highly effective for some people. You can also, if it's like a really severe case where most of the bowel is like attacked and nothing else is working, you can also get an ostomy bag. And this is something that, is very taboo. And there's a lot of people who would definitely prefer not having one. But it is very effective and it can really, in many ways, give you your life back. So what I hear, I don't have one personally, but what I hear from people with ostomy bags is that yes, they were a little nervous about getting them, but their life just improved so much by getting it. So basically they're thankful for having it. So don't let it freak you out if your doctor says that. It can be life-saving. So that was just a very quick and simplified version of what Morbus Crohn is and how it's treated. Now let me just tell you my story. I was 22, or rather I was 21, but I think it was like 1.5 months before my 22nd birthday, so I was 22 when I got it. I already started noticing symptoms like a year prior. I just didn't know. I remember getting what I thought was the stomach flu. That was not a great day. I think a lot of you probably tried having the stomach flu. I was throwing up, I had diarrhea, and I was just feeling so nauseous, and I had fever. It was like, that was one of the worst days of my life, but I really thought I had the stomach flu, because that's obviously what made most sense. But I just kept having symptoms like being bloated, having a lot of gas, having diarrhea. Like I couldn't really keep food in, and certain foods I reacted more to than others, and it was just, and I kept getting the stomach flu as well. I had the stomach flu like every 3rd month or something like that. My mom was starting to think that I was either not cleaning my kitchen or maybe it was psychological. Nobody could think that I had a disease in my bowel. And because, we didn't know that existed. So, but at one point I remember I was in school. I was studying and I was in school, and I just got this stomach pain that is just like, it's very hard to explain Crohn's pain. The pain Crohn's causes in your stomach and your bowel is like, you're not sure if, like, it's very horrible. I can't explain, but it's just so horrible. So that day I actually ended up going to the doctor because this was just too much. And he took my infection number and he concluded that it was, surprise, the stomach flu. But he asked me to come back like 4 days later, and I did, and the infection number had decreased a lot. It was a lot lower than it was 4 days prior, sorry. And so he again concluded that I had the stomach flu. It was going the right way. But a month later, I concluded that it never really went away. It might be better, but it hadn't gone away. So I went to the doctor again, and I said, I'm still bloated, I still have diarrhea, it's not like, I'm very tired. And he decided he decided that I needed to go to the hospital and be checked. So he referred me to the department that, takes care of stomach and bowel diseases. And I had to wait for like, I think a month or a month and a half or something like that for the appointment, but I never really made it to the appointment. So I remember getting diarrhea again and fever, and the pain I got in my bowel, my stomach, was the pain that it caused in my stomach and my bowel literally made me, I had no doubt in my heart at that point that I was going to die. I mean, I literally remember like feeling my body telling me, we're dying. I felt all the signals. And so I had no doubt in my heart that I was going to die. I wasn't, dying. Well, I was dying. I found out later, a few months later, I found out that my infection number that night had been so high that it was very close, the inflammation was very close to spreading and could have killed me. So I was right. But obviously, living in Denmark, where we have universal health care and so on, of course, if I was capable of being rational in that moment, I would have known that I would probably not die. But frankly, when you are in that kind of pain, your instincts kick in. You're not being rational. All instincts just kick in. It was a very horrible experience. I remember lying on my living room floor in a foster position because it was so painful. Luckily, my ex-boyfriend didn't live so far away. He lived almost next door. So I remember calling him and being like, we need to go to the doctor or to the ER. And we went, and the on-call doctor didn't really know what it was, but my infection numbers were really high, and so he wanted me to get urgently admitted so they could figure out what was wrong with me. And long story short, 24 hours later, a doctor came into the room I was lying in, and my ex-boyfriend was there, and my mom had come as well, and she basically told me I had Morbus Crohn. And I remember looking at my mom and my ex-boyfriend, and they were looking at me, like we were looking at each other, and like, what? I have what? I'd never heard about that before. And the doctor told me that it was a bowel disease. And we were once again looking weirdly at each other. What do you mean a bowel disease? Because I really didn't know you could have a bowel disease. I know you could have like an irritable bowel, or you could have obviously cancer in the bowel, but I didn't know there was actually diseases. So she explained obviously what it was, and I was to start on medicine. I was allowed to go home that night because they had it under control, and I was just going to start this medicine, and then I had to come back a few months later to see how things were going. But once again, I didn't make it to that appointment because on my 22nd birthday in the evening, very sudden, and when I say sudden, I mean like this, my fever. I just got this very severe fever, incredible, horrible pain in my stomach and bowel. And this time I had fever cramps. And I don't know if you ever had fever cramps or seen anyone have them, but that's just another level. Like that's wow. All your muscles get really tight and stiff. So you're basically just one long line, like, you can't really move, and then your whole body shakes. And when I say the whole body shakes, I don't mean like the feeling of shaking. I mean literally. So literally everything was doing like this. Literally. It's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's because I look stupid when I do it, but it's horrible. Trust me, it's not something you want. And it's mostly kids actually who gets it, but yeah, Crohn's can do that as well, apparently. So for a second time, I was admitted to the hospital. And this time they admitted me for 5 days. I think I was there like 5 days. And I was admitted on my 22nd birthday. I remember there was a nurse, very sweet nurse, who came in, and she said to me, she came in and she looked like so kind and so sorry in her face, and she's like, happy birthday. Oh, thank you. So I was there for 5 days, and I actually got a very high doses of steroids, and I got it as infusion. So yeah, that was not so fun. But especially because steroids work as effectively as they do. So within a very short amount of time, I didn't really feel like I was sick. I was, but because of the steroids, I didn't feel that way. And there I was, admitted to the hospital, which is the most boring shit in the world. And I was surrounded by very sick people, like way more sick than I ever was. and you're just feeling fine. That was horrible. That was, honestly, being admitted to a hospital is a very traumatic experience. And it is something I'm going to make a video about. I'm going to make a video specifically on the trauma of being admitted to the hospital. Both being admitted urgently, but also being there admitted for a certain amount of time. How traumatic an experience that actually is for me, and probably most of other people who have tried that, regardless of the reason they were there. And so I'm gonna do another video on that. But after 5 days, I was allowed home. Yay! My sister came and picked me up. That was very sweet. And I went home and I had to keep taking steroids, but this time as pills. And yeah, and then the whole process of finding out how they could treat me started. So I had to get an MR, I had to get a coloscopy? I think that's right, coloscopy. And yeah, a lot of testing done. And I'm not gonna go too much into what happened afterwards, because I'm gonna do other videos telling you about my experience with getting a coloscopy and MR scans and like the whole testing experience. I'm gonna do other videos on that. But it took almost 8 months to find a treatment that worked, and I had to be treated with steroids twice in that period of time. And they found out that azathioprine was a really good treatment for me, but also the biological anti-rheumatics called Remicade, maybe in English. And I got it as an infusion as well. You have to go I was there every 8th week, and every 8 week, and to get it as an infusion for a couple of hours. It was very effective, but I have to admit, I'm very glad that I switched to Humira, which I did because I actually, long story short, got out of Remicade and only took azathioprine, and then had a relapse in my illness, so I had to go on anti-rheumatics again. But I'll do another video on that. But I apparently all of a sudden was allergic to Remicade, so that's why I switched to Humira there. But I'm gonna do a video about that whole experience as well. So, but I'm very glad actually that I switched to Humira, because it's an injection and I can pick it up at the hospital, take it home with me, and then take the injection myself, and I get I get enough injections for 2 months. So that means I only have to go just to pick it up. I don't have to get like admitted to get infusion and spend a whole day there. Like I can literally just pick it up after work, and so that's very much more convenient than getting Remicade. So I'm actually kind of glad I became allergic to Remicade. So yeah, that's still my treatment today. It's been going up and down a little bit. I'm gonna do more videos on my whole journey. But this was just about what it is, and basically about how I got diagnosed and my early journey with Morbus Crohn. If you have Morbus Crohn, comment below and tell me your story with Crohn's disease and what kind of treatment you are taking. I would love to hear that. Let's share our experiences. That's why we're here, because we want to create awareness. So that was today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also go follow me on Instagram. The Art of Being Ill is also my Instagram name. Woo! So I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.